Hello. Now we are going to look at the idea of percentage change. And these types of questions can come up in many different ways. There's lots of different language associated with them. But anytime we see percentages and percentage changes given to us in a question, we can pretty much always use the same structure. We can use the unitary method. We're going to figure out what 100% is in the question. So we're dealing with percentages, figure out what 100% is, and then we're going to figure out what percentage we've got and what percentage we want to get to. So this can come up in terms of the language of the questions, in terms of discounts, in terms of sales in shops, in terms of inflation, which is the overall increase in the cost of all of the items that we buy, or it would come up in terms of taxation with VAT, value-added tax. There's lots of different language, but if we see a percentage change in the cost of something, we're pretty much always going to use this method. And the key to this method is going to be, again, figuring out what 100% is. And it's always going to be, what are we comparing against? What is our default? What is our kind of original situation that we are comparing something to? And that original situation that we're comparing against is going to be 100%. And then the other pieces of information given to us in the question, the other costs, will be modifications from that. They could be 90% of the original, or they could be 110% of the original. And we'll look at that in detail now. With inflation, so the overall cost of living has gone up, milk costs 7% more than it did last year. 2 litres of milk used to cost €1.10. What does it cost now? Well, what was the situation that I'm comparing against? I'm comparing against last year's price with this 7% increase. That means that the original, the compared against price, is going to be my last year's price of €1.10. That means that the price last year, before inflation, so I can call it before inflation. So P for price and then BI for before our inflation that we're currently talking about. Obviously there was inflation before, is what we're going to say is 100%, because we've increased from this position by 7%. So this is our original state, and we know that that is €1.10. But what do we want to get to? Well, we want to know what the price after this inflation is. Well, that is going to be our original situation of 100%, last year's price, plus 7%, is going to be 107%. So we know what 100% is. We want to get to 107%. And this is basically always what we're going to do. We're going to say, we know this particular percentage is equal to a particular amount of euro. We're going to find out what 1% is. So we're going to, in this case, divide by 100, because if we know 100% and we want to get to 1%, we must divide by 100. Any number divided by itself gives 1. So we find out what 1% is, and that ends up being 0.011 euro. These numbers can sometimes end up very small and awkward, or as fractions. Just write them down as the calculator produces them. And then we want to get to our price after this inflation of 7%. So that means that we are going to multiply by, we want to get from 1% up to 107%. That's our goal. So we're going to multiply the left-hand side of our ratio, really, by 107. So we multiply the right-hand side by 107. So 107%, which is our price after inflation, ends up being €1 and 177. And because we don't have 177 cents to deal with, we are going to round up to 2 decimal places. So our final answer, our price after inflation, our 107%, is €1.18. So we've rounded up here because we have 7, so that rounds to 8. So that's what we did. We figured out what 100% was, we figured out what our goal was, and then we were able to get to our goal from where we'd started. Now, this is a different style of question. This is a sales type question, or it could also be a discount type question. In a 15% off sale, a coat cost €51. What is the normal price of the coat? Well, the normal price of the coat, we had a 15% sale, which means that 15% of the normal price was gotten rid of. So the 15% off was off of the original price. So what's our original setup? What are we comparing against? That's going to be the cost before the sale, or the normal price. So the normal price, call it PN for P normal, for normal price I should say. So P for price, N for normal. You can call them whatever you like, so long as you can be clear about what you mean. That's going to be our 100%, because the 15% modified that. It changed our original situation of the normal price when we went into our sale. So now we know the price during the sale, which we may as well call PS for, or the price during the sale, is €51, but it's also our original price minus 15%. So that's going to be €51 is going to be 100 minus 15 is going to be 85%. So we've worked out the situation that's given to us. In this case, we weren't given 100% in terms of the information in the question. We were actually given information about the cost of 85%. And now we want to get to the normal price, the original price before this 15% discount. So now what we have to do is divide both sides by 85. We're going to do the same thing as we did here. We're going to get to 1%, and then we're going to go back up to 100%. So divide both sides by 85, because 85 divided by 85 will give me 1%, and then I can go back up to 100%. This is going to be our key all the time. Find 1% of something and then go back up to what we want. That's going to be 0.6 euro, or 60 cent. And then we multiply back up to get to our 100%, which is what we're interested in. We want to get the normal price, which we figured out is the 100% situation. So we multiply there, and we get that our price before the sale, or our normal price as it's worded in the question, is going to be €60. So that's our normal price, is €60. Now, another way that this can be phrased is in terms of a VAT question, a value-added tax question. And VAT is just a tax that we pay on absolutely everything, or almost everything, that we buy. So a car costs $32,000 before VAT at 23% is charged. What is the selling price after VAT? So we've got the price before VAT, and now we want to know the price after VAT. Well, the VAT gets added on to our before VAT price. So that percentage, that 23%, is changing what should have been our 100%. So that means that the cost before VAT, the price before VAT, so PBV, the price before VAT, would be our 100%, because the percentage we're given in the question, the thing we are changing by, is the VAT. So we want to know the price before VAT is going to be 100%, and we're told that that's €32,000. So we know that our price before VAT, before this 23% modifies anything, is going to be our 32,000 as 100%. And we want to get the selling price after VAT. Well, the selling price after VAT, if we do our setup, is going to be the 100% for before VAT plus the 23%, which means it's going to be 123%. So we want to get from 100%, what we already know is the 32,000, up to 123%. So we write down 100%. You can see that this follows the same structure as what we have already done. It's just slightly different language each time. And we want to get now from this before VAT situation, this 100% situation, up to 123%. So what am I going to do? Same thing as always. I'm going to find out what 1% is and then I'm going to multiply back up to the percentage that I want. So if I have 100%, I have to divide by 100. Any number divided by itself gives me 1. And I end up with 320. Euro is 1%, and I want to get 123%, so I have to multiply my 1% by 123. And I have to multiply the other side by the same amount to keep my proportion the same. So I get 123%. My price after VAT is going to be 39,360, and that should be euro. So our price after VAT is our 123% is our 39,360. And finally, we have a window costs €136.20 after VAT is charged at 13.5%. What's the price before VAT? Well, the 13.5% was added on to our original price to get up to this €136.20. So that means the price before VAT is going to be our 100%. That's what we're comparing against. That's what this 13.5% has been added on to. So it's the 13.5% modified our original situation, so it's going to be 100%. And that's what we want to know. What's our price before VAT, our 100%? So the price after VAT is our 136.20, which is equal to our original price, our price before VAT, plus our 13.5%, which means that 136.20 is equal to 113.5%. And now we need to find out what 100% is, what our price before this 13% was added on was. So as always, divide our percentage down. So we find 1%. So divide both sides by our percentage. 113.5 divided by 113.5 gives me my 1%. So we always find 1% and then go up to the percentage that we're interested in. When we divide that in, we get 1.2. So €1.20 is 1%. And then we want to go up to 100%. In this case, that's our goal. We want to know the price before VAT. So we have to multiply our 1% by 100, and then must do the same thing to the other side to keep the proportion the same. So our price before VAT was €120. So that was our price before VAT. It's equal to our €120, and we figured out that that was the original situation. That was our 100%. So that's what we need for now. So anytime we get these percentage change questions, we have to figure out the percentage that we're given. What did it modify? What was the original situation before this percentage affected anything? And that's going to be our 100%. And that's going to allow us to figure out what information we've been given. Have we been told the price after our percentage is added on, or are we told the price before the percentage is added on? And that will vary from question to question. But that is what we need for now.